Welcome, AfterBuzzers. You are watching the House of Cards After Show, chapters 63 and 64. Stay tuned for more.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Welcome, House of Cards fans. We are back. We have the full panel. My name is Shaka Smith. You guys can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat at Shaka Strong.
Hey guys, my name is Louiza Sharamatyan. You can find me on Instagram at Nobody Reads Anymore and on Twitter at Nobody Reads.
Hey guys, I'm Taylor Gates. You can find me on Twitter at alphaba_Ann and on Instagram at Taylor_Gates_.
And I am Kevin Ellis. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at @TheKevinEllis. Screwing up my name already.
Well, these were like a remarkable pair of episodes because finally shit's going down. Shit's happening. So they're dealing with the repercussions of Walker's testimony at the outset. I loved that whole dynamic of what Claire and Mark want to do and what Frank wants to do. So let's just start it off. What did you guys think about, I guess, Frank wanting to kind of stick his ground and Claire and Mark having a different strategy?
I think just Frank was so surprised. They were all so ready for Garrett to, plead the fifth and everything to be kind of closed off. And now they're just trying to bring everything together to a smooth kind of thing, but it's not happening, obviously.
Mm-hmm. I think at this point, Frank is kind of just disagreeing because he feels so insecure about people's almost like lack of faith in him. Mm-hmm. They're like, you should take the censure, and he's just not for it at all.
Yeah.
Well, he's in just such a tough spot because he really screwed himself over when he decided to talk to Garrett Walker. But now you're seeing this whole chaos that's taking place. Nobody knows what to do. Frank is in a position where he's even unsure of what his own plan is, but he's getting to the point where he thinks that censure is like the only way to go because really it's just a means of the House saying we disapprove of your actions, but he doesn't lose any power. He doesn't have to face the Senate judiciary, but as we see things start to unravel a little bit more, so.
And Mark doesn't even know what to do either.
Yeah, and I mean, initially I thought Frank being against censor was like, get with it, guy. Like, this is the best path out. But when you think about it, Frank has always won. He's always figured out the best way out, and it's been without any repercussions. So maybe he's got it right to some degree. Like, to me, it seems illogical, but it's always worked for him.
Yeah. It's interesting how even at this stage, though, he begins to suspect Claire a little bit. He's very unsure and very untrusting of her, which is very peculiar.
Even with
at
the
this
whole
stage.
the whole house being tapped.
Yeah.
He doesn't know. When he did that monologue scene, and he's like, do you know where my wife is, or wouldn't you care to know where your wife will go? And we see how she sneaks downstairs and talks to Jane, and she's definitely seeing that he can't trust her anymore.
Or hopefully like the erosion of that trust.
Yeah.
I love how she just waves at the camera in the gym too.
Hey, I know you're watching. I'm never not aware that you're watching.
I love it.
Yeah.
I thought 63 was kind of marked by the breakdown of relationships. I guess they were cleaning house because now you got to go inwards because it's hitting the fan. What did you guys think about? Was it a breakup, Frank and Eric?
Okay, stage 5 clinger.
What was that?
Confessing
I was just like,
your love at the park, and his security service is there, or Secret Service. Really?
What did you guys think?
Oh, it's just so out of the norm. I mean, I could just feel Frank's pain. You knew full well that she just...
Go home.
Oh my God. He didn't know, in front of the Secret Service, too. You have to understand, the Secret Service probably heard all this. He's so awkward.
Wait, we've all been in a situation where someone's like saying things loudly in public, and you're like, no.
Oh, yeah. And you have to think that, I was under the impression that there was going to be like some kind of death for Eric, but who knows? Who knows?
Never
it's
know.
going to pop up in the next episode. But God, that was so awkward.
And then we also had Claire breaking it off with the age. We don't have what she does to him yet, but we have her kind of breaking off the relationship. What do you guys think about that break?
I love how savage it was because she's like, you can finish your coffee first.
Yeah.
But I was like, damn, yeah.
Wow. It was.
But I think she was doing it more for Frank. I think if Frank didn't say, I think you need to, put your personal life aside now, I think she would still go on with it.
Of course.
But then obviously we see the manuscript come and everything, so I don't want to talk too much about that yet. But she wasn't ready for it, but she had to do what she had to do.
I would agree. I think that she knows full well the right political move, more so than Frank sometimes. She is more calculated, I would say, and a little less impulsive.
Yeah.
And through that, we see her making the right choice here. I don't think that she would have broken it off with Tom if she felt that it was not necessary. So I think that in the end, it was her call.
She knows it's necessary.
Yeah, I think that she would have kept Tom around if she really felt like she could.
Yeah.
But she knew full well that she couldn't.
And we got to get a little scandalous here, ladies. So Doug breaks it off with a widow, but she reveals the reason they're having sex is not because she likes him, but because she hates him.
That did not make sense. It was so weird for me.
I don't know if you guys can offer some insight. Maybe it's a female thing, but if I don't like you or hate you, things aren't going down. What was that?
I don't know.
Do you have any insight?
I don't know.
Like,
I would just say that she was a very tortured soul. She lost her husband. I think that she probably had an idea of she knew something was up.
She knew.
Whether or not she knew the entire time, I don't necessarily buy, but probably a little bit into it, she was getting this impression that, okay, this guy is clearly hiding something, and it took probably a moment for her to figure out exactly
He
why.
worked for the president, donating a bunch of money.
Yeah.
I mean, from a woman's point of view, I think she was just lonely and vulnerable. And at that point, there was nothing else she can do. That's how I feel. But
I felt some real emotion behind what she was saying.
I don't like that.
I would agree.
But I don't agree with
Maybe
how
it's
it went
like a
down.
weird toxic revenge thing in
Yeah.
some messed up
But then we see Doug, going to the other brunette's house.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys.
Well, the other
I knew that was going to happen.
Yeah, you guys called it. I have to give it to you, ladies.
Brunettes,
I was disappointed. I was disgusted. I was,
And then Frank was watching it and turned it off.
Yeah.
I think that made it all that much better, in my opinion.
And the worst was Leanne really kind of came on to him. Like she really seemed to push the issue.
I think she was using a little bit of her. I mean, she was in a position where she felt like she was cornered. Yeah. So I think, again, women using Doug to try and get what they need. So I felt like that was almost the same thing as Moretti's wife. It was the same.
But also, she's holding on to information from Aiden that Doug really wants.
Yep.
Yeah. So they're both kind of working at twin aims. We see the breakdown a little bit in the trust that Frank has in Claire, with the reveal that he knew about the whole Moretti situation that she knew about the whole Moretti situation the entire time. What did you think? How did that affect Frank? Because that was, to me, where I really saw him be surprised.
I think he was surprised and betrayed. Because I think he would have wanted Claire to open up to him and say, I know this is what happened, Doug saved your life, but this is the circumstances. So I think he was shocked. But also we do see that Doug was questioning Claire as well. When Frank said, do you think something's going on with Claire? She's kind of MIA. But of course Doug didn't allow himself to say, yeah, I do. Yeah. But that's how I saw it.
I think that it was just a very awkward situation for Doug. I mean, he's always in a place where he questions Claire, and he's never going to be, again, there are so many different things that happened. I would say that he would never be disloyal to Frank, and we find out he has been, which is just, I mean, I feel like we have to actually, tap on some of these things.
Yeah.
But, the fact that he finally, he revealed his loyalty to Frank, the fact that he was in a position where, he had to save his life. Frank... I don't know. It bothers me so much that Frank is he finds Doug to be the most loyal servant, and betrays him in so many ways too.
It was such a hurtful moment to invite him to dinner and all. It
broke my
heart.
heart.
Once we get into that,
in his little sweater vest.
Doug is your number one. You can't do that.
Well, we get these leaks from Doug, about the Columbia arrest and the voting centers. To me, it's been hard to reconcile it because, there's no way Doug, the soldier, is doing this. Yeah. So I wonder if he's leaking it in a way that somehow will make it all go away. If you can release all the secrets and then find a way that they're all discredited at once, then there's no more secrets. But we'll see. But I thought Jane Davis has been playing a very interesting role throughout both. And what did you guys think about how she's been acting with Kathy Durant, and she's talking to Claire, and she's kind of pushing Claire to be...
So for me, I think she's the woman who has dirt on everyone.
Yeah.
Especially with the gun situation with Leanne, which we still want to figure out how she got the gun. Were you in the hotel room?
Yeah.
Did you have someone kill Aiden? So she's definitely on to something. So that's my fishy little opinion.
I feel like she's just like Claire's #1 hype man, honestly.
Yeah.
I feel
She's
like
Claire's Doug.
Yeah, everything that
Yeah.
she's doing is so that Claire can step up and be president. Like, she's always alluded to that. All of her actions have kind of pointed that direction for me. So I think it's a really interesting kind of dynamic between her and Claire.
Yeah.
She finally addresses that very thing, is that she believes Claire is the person that she needs or wants to be in the office. And a lot of it was money, which she alluded to. A lot has to do, the stock markets are a little bit down under Frank. She feels like it's better for Wall Street, better for her interests. I think it was interesting that she really was trying to recruit Kathy. She knows that Kathy is very valuable, especially towards possibly overthrowing Frank.
And then also, like, Kathy's got a little integrity, so maybe, like, Jane is walking a line where she wants a more moral person in the office.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and she even goes up to Frank and says, your presidency is beyond repair. We can't repair it. At least we can work with your wife. Well, she was telling Mark that we can work with Claire.
Yeah.
She's, reasonable in some ways. She gets stuff done.
So yeah, I think Jane's got a very interesting, like, she's sort of the serpent almost in the story.
How funny was that scene with Mark when they were chewing gum or something, and then she wanted that nicotine gum, and then she goes like, "I don't want to, give me a cigarette," and he's like, "Spit it out." Like, they're so funny, right? That combo.
Yeah, Jane might be next on Doug's list. I don't know. They seem to have such a good corollary, and Doug seems to be making his way around.
She's not brunette, guys. It's never gonna work.
So obviously we see that Frank has been doing some push-ups, and now he's got his arm strength back. So we start off 64 with the push heard around the world. What did you guys think about that? Was insane.
Frank is back.
That was
the Frank
insane.
that killed Zoe. That same push that put that poor girl under that train. Now Kathy's on the stairs.
How? I don't even understand why he thinks he can get away with it. Like, won't she wake up and be like, "You pushed
so
me"?
funny.
Help!
Yeah. Help!
The secretary has fallen.
Maybe he thinks that she is in a position where she's going to betray him regardless, and so he is in a very, I get like no shit's given at this point. He has the ability to push her down. Her word against his. He's the president of the United States.
And it's all being recorded.
And it's being recorded, but she was right outside of the eye of the camera, so it was not seen. That's why he looked.
That's why she
looked.
He looked.
He's
exactly.
so good. He's so good.
No, he knew exactly where he could.
I didn't even realize that. He's so good.
So it was brilliant. It was brilliant.
We have some input from our beautiful chat family on YouTube. Thank you for joining as usual. So the something cast said Jane is also laying a foundation of trust, which could be bad in the future because they may end up following her blindly no matter what she tells them.
That's true.
And also from Jay Snowden, he said Jane is a badass chick. I really like her character, and I like that she is on Team Claire.
Yeah,
Great input, guys.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Jane, but I want to know more. I want to know more.
Like, where are you coming from, and how do you have all this clearance, girl? Like, really?
And then maybe Frank and Claire coordinate because they decide to get rid of their rivals at the same episode, or people that might cause trouble. Tom, this idiot, decides, here's this manuscript I want to leave for you.
So stupid.
What do you think about that? I mean, he has to know she's a dangerous woman, right?
Here's my question. So they go to Mark's house. Mark had no idea, right, that's going to happen. Or did
I don't think so.
I don't think so, but you never know.
But towards the end, well, we're going to jump a bit forward, but towards the end when he sees what she did, he was okay with it. So I think Claire was just trying to show him what she's capable of. Right?
Well,
possible too.
But I think her primary thing was get rid of this dude. Like, this guy's got to go.
You're tapping into something in that there's possibly a real possibility that was intentional. At least Mark's house was very intentional, showing what she is capable of and what she does want to accomplish and what she's willing to do. So yeah, I think you're right, Louisa.
It was an herb called gelsemium or gelsemium. Sorry if I'm saying that wrong, but it was a Chinese herb that Jane had given to Claire, only for headaches. But then how did she?
Apparently, in large doses, it kills you, or maybe with an increased heart rate.
What a way to die!
Like,
what a way to die while making love to the woman you love.
Yep.
And I had to go back and watch it. I was like, wait, did he just die? Wait, were y'all confused?
Keep going.
Yeah, I was very confused. I'm like, there's no way she just killed him like that.
Oh, really? I don't know. I've seen GoldenEye, I remember. I just remember it was Xenia on the top. She things about James Bond days, so I know it's
that
possible.
It stood out to you.
I feel like anyone that's talking about like wanting to go to Greenland in the middle of like having sex with someone
So
deserves
weird.
to go. Like, who does that?
I'm telling you, the only best sex scenes were Conway and his wife.
Oh yeah, well that felt joyful. And where is
fun and
Conway, by
young.
the way? Have we heard a word about Conway in these last few? Like you would think at this point he might be like vocal now that things are like hitting the fan with the presidency, but we've lost him for now.
I think he's probably going to be written off, in my opinion.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
I want them to like give him more of a closing, and we never really found out what happened in the war. Like, I want a little bit more from Conway. What do you guys think about Romero? So now Romero, we've been having trouble finding dirt on Romero, and then we find out, lo and behold, there's a little something. What do you guys think about that background?
I think it's just the idea that everybody's got something to hide, especially in Washington. You can always dig up dirt on somebody, so it's just it was a shame to see what it was.
Yeah.
Surprising? I don't know. There's something about his character. He's always been just arrogant and just one of these people that are, not very trusting. And so I think that it was well written in what he was found to be.
Yeah.
And I think he finally took a deep sigh when Kathy gave him that Post-it. That she wanted to testify. So he probably felt like, finally I'm getting somewhere, and then she had to fall. Or, pushed down the stairs.
It wasn't a fall. What did you guys think about, I thought the what do you call it, subterfuge with Tom and Angela and making it seem as if they had extra dirt on the presidency. What do you guys think about that?
I think that it was, well, in general, Angela being able to plant that email for Sean to see, and Sean becoming the deputy press secretary just out of nowhere. That's knowledge. That was
like,
insane.
Hell no, you're not.
But I think that Hammerschmidt, it was one of the smartest things that he has done so far in planting that story. The fact that Sean was able to bring that to the president, very ambitious. I don't know if Tom Hammerschmidt even foresaw that type of thing happening.
Yeah.
But it was exactly what he needed for Frank to become so paranoid that he's going to turn on Doug Stamper. Insane.
Yeah, they're finally getting somewhere, I feel like, at the Herald. Like, and it's nice to see that finally making progress.
But they're kind of a little bit wrong. They got the dots like not connected quite the right way. If they had them the right way, then Frank would be really done.
Oh yeah.
So what do you guys think about that dinner meeting?
It
How
came
sad
out of
was it,
nowhere.
right?
I did not think that they would actually, make him take the whole blame for it. And I love how Frank said, we're shifting suspicion.
Yeah.
Perfect way to say that, but it came out of nowhere for me.
Just the way it escalates was so sad because
Poor
Doug was so desperate.
Poor Doug, yeah.
Poor Doug, he's always been unlucky. It's like, whoa. But like even at the dinner where he's like, I'll make a statement, I'll resign, and they're like, that's not what
gonna
we're
be
asking. So sad.
But I thought it actually showed a little bit of respect for Doug, because like, normally the Underwoods would just frame you. Here they're like, bring you in, we're letting you know what's happening, and we trust you enough that you're going to follow through on this.
Yeah, we're cooking fish. Come eat fish with us and listen to what we have to say. But she also did ask, are you talking to your brother? Do you have any kind of connection?
Yeah.
I think just to see if, is he connected to his family still, or,
To bump him off, or is he sharing his secrets with other
ends.
people?
Possibly loose ends, yeah. Oh, it broke my heart. I mean, he's my favorite. I love Doug.
Yeah.
But the fact that he was the individual who was leaking to the press, leaking to Hammerschmidt.
But could he really be doing that and not a better scheme for the Underwoods to help them? Because if you're willing to now take a murder charge, there's no way you were doing that to hurt the Underwoods, right?
Well, I mean, to even comment on that, willing to take the murder charge, he has been known to read a lot of Charles Dickens throughout the series, or maybe even listen to it, because in season 2 we had that scene where he asked Rachel to read a part of his famous book, A Tale of Two Cities.
Yeah, you had a little line from there.
Yeah,
right?
and there's this part that I researched that I just have to say it kind of links in why that book and Doug's character is so important, and it goes something like this. So, even the men Underwood are obliged to serve are not safe. It was Sidney Carton who went to the Guillotine in A Tale of Two Cities, not Charles Darnay. The guillotine will fall in House of Cards, and it will not be Frank Underwood's neck under the blade, although it has always been meant for him. Instead, it will be a man who shares Underwood's gluttony for power but lacks his talent for personal survival.
Interesting.
So Doug is gonna take the hit instead of Frank.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
why it was correlated together, I think.
What I will point out, and what I found interesting, is that do you remember when the phone call was made to Hammerschmidt when he was like outside in the burbs, and it was a very muffled phone call, or at least the voice was masked?
Yeah.
If you listen to the language that was being spoken to Hammerschmidt, I thought it was Frank.
Yeah.
Because it was quite obvious, like Doug is taking the fall, but that individual knew about the birthday cards. So Frank knew about the birthday cards, which makes me lead to think that that both Doug and Frank are playing this somehow
At something
together.
bigger.
Yeah,
I
because
did not even go that far.
because for Frank to know about the birthday cards means that
Wait.
Doug and he are.
Do we know
this
that it was
together?
Frank though?
Well, no, yeah, well, we don't know if it was Frank for sure.
Okay.
But how did Doug know that he was about to take the fall? Because this is pre-dinner. He did not know that he was
Yeah.
going to take the fall yet.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, okay, like Frank is the one who called Hammerschmidt.
Yeah.
But I'm screwing up the names here. But then Doug is the one who is leaking to the press. That's why I think that Doug and Frank have something going on here.
That's
There's a trust factor
big.
that Claire's being left out of. I think that there's something bigger.
That
Yeah, I
makes
agree,
sense
yeah.
because him betraying him
It makes
for
no sense to
seemingly
me.
no reason
And then
doesn't
also
make sense.
taking the fall for the murder. If you're going to betray him, be like, I'm
Right.
not going to take the fall for this
Right.
murder. Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
my thought, and I mean I could be wrong, but I see no point for Doug to be betraying Frank, and vice versa. There's just
Yeah.
there's no
It's a
reasoning
good
for
observation.
Yeah.
Yeah, and chat room, if you want to add to that, let us know.
Yeah, absolutely. Jay Snowden and something cast. Thank you guys for joining us.
Oh, yeah.
And then we also have Claire breaking that fourth wall. We didn't really talk much about
I
that.
loved it.
Which was nice, yeah.
I love
What was
that.
it? Not that I haven't known you there. I've always known you're there, but she doesn't like the attention, and she's ambivalent about the way we are.
Well,
How dare you tell us?
to me, that shows that she's the future.
Yeah.
That we should get used to seeing her face more because clearly, Frank is resigning, and if she takes the lead as president, she's going to be the one talking to us and not Frank. That's how I saw it.
Yeah, that's such an important aspect of the show is that breaking the fourth wall and staring directly into the camera. And I got
Yeah.
chills because last season in the finale we had them doing it together,
Yeah.
but now that Claire's doing it by herself,
Yeah.
it's just a whole different ball game. I feel like.
It almost reminded me because she said she's like doesn't like attention. I remember like middle school we had read Machiavelli, and the teacher said, "Who's the most Machiavellian in the class?" And all the guys raised their hand, and everyone wanted to be considered the Machiavellian person. The sweetest little girl in the corner didn't raise her hand, and the teacher said, "It's you. You're the
Yeah.
one that wants no attention. You wanted to stay under the radar." And so I thought it was very telling that Claire said she doesn't like attention, and
Yeah.
like she's ambivalent about us.
That is interesting.
Be careful from the quiet ones, don't they say?
Exactly.
But one thing I wanted to say that I got goosebumps in the mirror when she was taking off her makeup and practicing. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know, and all these things. That was weird.
And then she's like, "How was that?"
Yeah, and to get trying to get Frank's approval, letting him
she's
know. I know
so
what's going on.
good,
Yeah.
She's so good.
And that episode was directed by Robin Wright, so I think you saw a lot of her hand
she
in
says
there.
a lot. Yeah,
Amazing.
shout out Robin
Yeah.
Wright, amazing.
She knew how to really showcase everything. It was beautiful.
Taking off the makeup, I think, is a really important thing to show.
Yeah.
It's like, because that's like her facade, you know what I mean? I know in How to Get Away with Murder, a lot of times when she takes off her wig and things like that, it's
Yeah.
a really important symbol, and I felt that here too.
And you
Oh,
see
yeah.
it and you feel it, but it's funny because as a guy, if I were directing that, I wouldn't necessarily make that connection until I see it on screen.
Exactly.
So I think sometimes you have to have a woman direct something to really
Yeah.
get
oh,
certain
absolutely.
things.
She was taking off her mask.
Yeah. That was awesome.
Oh, yeah.
I guess it's really time to move into predictions.
I think so. It's
Got the music?
We'll go without the music, I guess.
Predictions.
Predictions. All right, what do you got? What do you got, Shaka?
What do I have for predictions? Let's see. So, Frank resigns in this grandiose speech, but obviously he's not really resigning. So he's going to find a way that resignation means nothing, but it plays for the public like, oh, he's willing to put the party first, the people first. I do think Doug has those birthday cards are part of clearing them of all that stuff. So I think once you get everything out in the open and you have a reason for why it went down, then it somehow clears the administration that can start fresh. I think Frank knows that they have too many secrets that could be leveraged against them or used against them, so they need a way that he can start the presidency without any blackmail in the future. So those are my two big ones. Hoping that we never see Doug and Leanne together again. At least not together.
Yeah.
But yeah. And yeah, that'd be it.
I guess what I want to say is, well, we see separation of powers, and I think he is going to go through with the resignation, and I want to see Claire be the president and just help, and listen to the people and work with Jane. I think they make a good partnership. So.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what's next for Claire and Jane for sure. And kind of going off of Doug and Leanne, sorry to bring it up again, but he confesses to killing Zoe to her, though he didn't do it. But the story he was telling was about Rachel, and so I'm wondering if that's ever gonna be a topic that we touch on again. Because, he did kill Rachel. He killed somebody, and he told Leanne this story, and I wonder if it'll ever line up and if that'll ever be a thing.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
I definitely think Doug and Frank are playing.
Yeah, you keep saying that.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens.
Yeah, because I want to go back, I just feel like that phone call, and I really wish I wrote it down. I don't know, chat room guys, help me out here, but there was something that Frank said on the phone, or we'll assume it's Frank. Yeah. But it was literally, it's something that he says all the time. It was just something that he always does with a southern drawl. Yeah, that Gaffney type thing. So it was, anyway, but yeah, because I think what you said just kind of nailed it in that I think they're trying to get everything out in the open. I'm sure that Doug has some sort of alibi for where he was during the night of Zoe Barnes' killing. Is it really believable that he killed? No, they're probably going to be able to put Doug in a place where he did not actually commit the murder. So if they're throwing all these weird signals, it's going to throw Tom Hammerschmidt off the trail. It just kind of makes sense to me. I don't think that he's going to relinquish his power. There's no point for Frank to do so.
And we saw when he talked about the censure, he's like, Claire, do you know me? How long have you known me? That's not Frank. So when he resigns, I was just like, that's not Frank Underwood.
And what in that conversation in the staircase with Jane, what does Jane want? Well, Frank can give that to her. He's the president, and Jane is the master manipulator. She can find a way to get Frank out of this as long as she knows she's going to get something out of it. And if she has the trust of Frank, she doesn't need Claire.
And Claire's been quiet, but she also seems reluctant. And I don't know if she's reluctant because she wants to support Frank and get him the 8 years, and she gets her 8 years, or if she's been quiet because she's planning something else. But she's like, I'm trying to stand by Frank, trying to be by his side, so I don't know how quickly she'll get that presidency.
Yeah, you can just see her getting so tired of Frank's abuse. She'll just look away for a second and then look back and be in the conversation again.
Or even calling her stupid for, falling in love.
Oh,
that scene. Yeah.
It's all probably weighing on her very heavily, but the way they slow played this season, if there's an impeachment or a resignation goes through, we'll probably see it 8 episodes into the next season.
No, exactly.
Yeah, it was nice to actually have things speed up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
If anything happens to Frank and losing his seat as the president, I think at this point, as you pointed out, I think that the rolling rock that is Claire Underwood is the one to unleash hell on Frank, if anybody.
And any predictions about Jane, Leanne, and that gun? Because that was also a little bit weird to me, and it seems like it's gonna play bigger later.
I think she probably had someone kill him, and then whoever killed him gave her the gun.
But I'm wondering how she's gonna use that against Leanne. How's she going to use Leanne as a pawn?
Well, I don't know yet, but I agree that that's the whole purpose, is just to have her as a pawn, have her in her grasp. Who knows?
Since Jane is so Team Claire, maybe I've always felt that Leanne was kind of gonna be Team Claire too. So I wonder if all three of them will kind of
girl
team
power
up and do something. That's been the theme this season.
It just hit me.
Yeah.
She's gonna blackmail Leanne to get whatever Aiden gave her, and say either you go down for some weird murder with Aiden, or I get whatever you got. Because she was obsessed with the whole what Aiden was giving Petrov earlier.
He was,
Jane was. Okay, I think that one will come through.
I think
I'm gonna hang my head on that one. That one makes logical sense, right?
And we have our chat room that says Claire and Jane 2020.
I'm here for it.
Yes.
I don't know, because Jane seems like she wants to stay out of the. She likes to move in the
she'll
shadows.
just
She's
be Doug.
everywhere.
Yeah.
She's too awkward, sort of. Like, she would not be able to go on the campaign trail and be able to really campaign.
And I don't think there's any campaign rules about, or like electoral rules about Underwood switching. 8 years of Claire, and, at the top, and then 8 years of Frank at the top.
No, there's nothing stopping
Yeah,
that.
nothing stopping it.
No.
So we might have another 10 seasons, but we shall see. Anything else to add, guys?
No, I think that's it.
Excited for the season finale.
One more episode to
And we
go.
get a full hour on one episode, so it'll be a really good one, guys.
So excited.
Well, again, you guys can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat at Shaka Strong.
Hey guys, you can find me on Instagram at Nobody Reads Anymore and on Twitter at Nobody Reads.
Hey guys, you can find me on Twitter at alphaba_Ann and on Instagram at Taylor_Gates_.
Guys, thanks for joining us. I am Kevin Ellis. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at @TheKevinEllis.
Thank you guys for joining us.
See you guys next week.
See you later.
Bye.
Season finale. I can't believe it.
Yeah.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.